shine. It's a brand new day with Mo and News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Good morning, everyone. It is July the 2nd, 2024, and we have a bunch of news for you. Thank you guys for showing up. And Wolfram, for always doing your mod things. I appreciate it so much. Alice G, good morning. Cynthia Fire Fairy 42, good morning. Jedi Jess, good morning. Squid Pro Quo, Tammy, all of you, good morning. Well, we have, the hard hitting news first, as we go out into the morning. I can give you, the update that we've all been waiting for. The Hawk Tui girl, Haley Welsh, reveals the truth about her life and her newfound infamy in first video interview. Good morning, Robert James. So, the Hawk Tui girl is getting her 15 minutes of fame and she is monetizing it. And you know what? No shame in that game, I guess. Hey, if I were known for all the ridiculous things I say on the internet, well, I guess I kind of am, but I've not yet reached Hawk Tui levels of ridiculous. Good morning, Dash H. Haley Welsh, better known as the Hawk Tui girl after her not for PG rated viewers. A clip came out during an interview in Nashville that propelled her to virtual fame, has given her first sit down interview since the infamous segment. Speaking to Barstool Sports, Brianna LaPaglia, on the Plan Brit Uncut podcast Monday, Welsh 21 attempted to dispel some of the internet rumors Mills claims about her. She isn't a teacher. Her dad is the farthest thing from a preacher. Well, they're both wearing the smallest outfits in the world. To be fair, though, honest to goodness, if I reach my goal weight, I mean, the sky is the limit as to what ridiculous outfits I will wear. I honestly think God keeps me fluffy because he knows I wouldn't use, my goal weight for good. She said she works at a spring factory in her small Tennessee hometown and was getting ready for the graveyard shift at 2 a.m. when she was spotted the video of herself going viral. She said she deleted her social media accounts long before the video, in which she famously shared, her make romance great again tip. However, she confessed she nearly s a brick when she learned of her instant internet fame. Now she's trying to parlay her off-the-cuff onomatopoeia catchphrase into serious cash. She's already sold tens of thousands worth of branded merch and now has an entire management team and video team following her every move. LaPaglia is dating country star Zach Bryan, who hauled Welsh on stage at his show in Nashville on Saturday. She appeared on the podcast wearing the same outfit: Daisy Dukes white boots, a white tank top, and an oversized cowboy hat. She sported during her appearance on the show. Because, nothing will make your parents prouder than learning that, you keep your relationships alive with a good old spit shine. Oh my gosh. Welsh recalled the moments leading up to the night her life would change forever. While carousing with friends on the streets of Nashville after CMA Fest Music Festival, she told LaPaglia, quote, "Next thing I know, there's a microphone in my face." Welsh credited her extroverted personality with her evocative response about a typically private subject. "I would talk to a brick wall if you let me," she laughed. She said nothing of YouTuber's street interview at the time, never expecting to see it again, but sure enough, well, she she did. Good morning, Christine. So there you go. Hawk Tui girl. God bless America, where you can make an off the cuff comment, go viral, and parlay it into fame. I love America. Although I wish my neighborhood would stop blowing up bits of it with fireworks. Look, I'm not trying to rain on your parade. If you'd like to spend a mortgage payment on things that will literally, you know, explode in front of you, yay, good for it. But can we keep it to, maybe 4th of July, maybe 4th of July Eve? Could we stop letting off M80s in my neighborhood is all I'm asking. I love America still. I just, don't understand spending a mortgage payment on fireworks that are sold out of the back of a truck by a guy who looks like he's on parole. I mean, call me un American if you will, but I enjoy my fingers. In what in the Walmart rapture is going on here? A man is charged because an injured woman and 40 wolf hybrid dogs were found in uninhabitable home, deputies say. This gentleman had an unkempt house. By shock, you can't imagine it. You know when they say you can't judge a book by its cover, but then you look at a person, you're like, yeah, you know what? Okay. Oh, Squid Pro Quo, I am really interested in that. And I'm glad to hear from you rather than the one biofeedback guy I did hear, because oh my gosh, I seem to attract the most interesting people that want to tell me about their life. And I never asked. A man was arrested Monday after authorities said they'd found an injured woman and 40 wolf hybrid dogs in an uninhabitable home. Melvin Sonny Berry faces a number of charges, including 20 misdemeanor accounts of animal cruelty. Canines had to be put to sleep and go over the Rainbow Bridge because of safety concerns, the Davidson County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina said. Deputies said that month that they started looking into allegations of domestic elder abuse, neglect, and animal cruelty. During the investigation, it was determined through observations, interviews, and medical evaluations that an elderly female was living inside the residence with these over 40 dogs and sustained injuries that led to a welfare check being conducted on the residence where the female resided. Deputies found inside and outside conditions of the residence to be uninhabitable for people and dogs. Authorities determined that the dogs were not social, and furthermore, the canines were feral. After a lot of consultation with medical professionals and veterinary staff, the animals had to be, taken over the Rainbow Bridge because they were not afraid. They were kind of afraid of these animals. And if they're wolf, canine hybrids, those are big dogs. Yeah, I'm waiting for his home network, HGN, or where they keep that this ridiculous Magnolia, the two couple that do the all the houses in shiplap. I can't. I I forbid Mr. Mo to watch the home network because I can't. Every time we see people trying to buy houses and it's like, okay, our budget is 4 million. My husband collects rare Pokemon cards, but only every other Thursday, and I breed exotic lizards. And you're like, I can barely afford groceries. You guys have a $4 million, budget. What in the actual hell? So this seems to be a terribly sad story. All those animals had to be put to sleep. All told, Barry faces one count of felony domestic elderly abuse or neglect with serious injuries, one misdemeanor local ordinance charge, and the aforementioned 20 misdemeanor animal cruelty charges. He is expected to make a court appearance at the Lexington District Court July 23rd. His name does not appear at the county jail records as of Sunday afternoon. So it's really interesting. Um, this is something that happens. A lot of people have kind hearts toward animals, but they get overwhelmed. They, get in this place where they can't take care of it. You get older, you can't take care of things as easily, and it just kind of snowballs. Um, it is a Christmas, January, and catechism miracle, but we have a new saint, y'all. We have a new saint. God's influencer, Carlos Atticus, named first millennial saint following his 2006 death. So there you go. Although I don't know that I would want to be called God's influencer, but that's a personal thing. Blessed Carlo Acutis, a teen who died from cancer, is the first millennial to be canonized as a saint. Quote, he was an ordinary boy, a boy who lived in his childhood and youth between family, friends, and the games children play, said Bishop of Assisi, Domenico Sorrento. On Monday, the College of Cardinals voted for the teen's canonization, and he is to become a saint, according to Catholic News Agency. And in 2025, he will be declared a saint. Now, Carlos lived a life, quote, of faith that was nurtured until it could reach a peak that now makes him stand out in the eyes of the church and the world as a saint who will soon be proclaimed, he added. Two medical miracles have already been attributed to the teen who was known as God's influencer. Uh, Carlos was an Italian teen who used his tech skills to spread the Catholic faith. He was born May 3rd, 1999, in London and died on October 12, 2006, in Italy after battling leukemia, according to Vatican News. Before his death, he was considering becoming a priest. The teen's beatification took place in 2020, meaning the Pope declared the teen had attained the blessedness of heaven. Carlos was given the title of blessed. A student attending university in Florence fell off her bike and suffered severe head trauma and required a craniotomy surgery that had a low chance of survival. However, her miraculous recovery is attributed to Carlos, reports Vatican News. The student's mother made the pilgrimage to visit Carlos's tomb and leave a note. The same day, her daughter started breathing spontaneously, a day after she began to move and regain some of her speech. 10 days later, a CAT scan showed that her brain hemorrhage had disappeared. What is a saint? A saint is a person in heaven who are officially canonized and are not one who did one of the following, according to the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops: lived heroically virtuous lives, offered their lives to others, died for their faiths. All saints must have lived worthy lives, to become a saint. Well, that's informative, Yahoo News. Thank you for that. I wasn't sure if we were going to, nominate the Neiman brothers. For the love of all that is Cheetos. From my neck of the woods, showing that, well, politicians are sometimes even bad at flying. A Representative Victoria Spartz is charged with a weapons violation at Dulles Airport. Because, of course, she is. She's from Indiana. GOP Representative Victoria Spartz was charged on Friday with a weapons violation at Washington Dulles International Airport, a spokesperson for the Metropolitan Airport Authorities told CNN. Spartz, a Republican from my home state of Indiana, was charged with violating a section of Virginia law that prohibits carrying a force multiplier, explosive, or stun gun onto an air carrier airport terminal. The Congresswoman's office said in a statement on Friday that Spartz accidentally had an empty force multiplier in her suitcase with no magazine or, freedom seeds, which she did not realize was in the pocket of her suitcase while going through security at Dulles Airport. She received a citation, then flew to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in European Parliamentary Assembly meeting, according to her office. Sparks received a summons to appear in a Virginia court. And let's see, where is a picture of this lady? Well, they don't have one, but it's Indiana. To appear in a Virginia Airport Authority spokesperson, a violation is punishable as a Class 1 misdemeanor. Asked about the incident, a Transport Security Administrative spokesperson said TSA officers at IAD detected a 38 caliber force multiplier during security passenger screenings. It was unloaded and on the individual's carry-on bag. Sparts is the first Ukrainian born member of Congress and was elected to the House of Representatives in 2020. Even getting elected to Congress means that you have to pay attention to what you actually have in your carry-ons. My shock. In the upper education ridiculous shenanigans is going on here? A man who staged a kablooey hoax at a college tech lab and lied to the FBI is convicted. Yeah, the FBI generally doesn't lie when you lie to them, and they have the force to, back it up with jail time. So get a lawyer, don't lie to the FBI. A former employee at Northeastern University in Massachusetts. Massachusetts? Are you serious, Massachusetts? Must you continue to, increase your pace to become the Florida of the East Coast? On the campus and triggered an investigation by the FBI after he made up a phony story about an explosion going off inside packages sent to the university lab where he worked, has been found guilty by a federal jury. Jason Dunham, 46, was convicted on June 28th of intentionally conveying false and misleading information related to an explosive device and 2 counts of making false statements to federal law enforcement agents. Jason, who worked at Northwestern University's new technology or worked as Northeastern Technologies manager and director for its immersive media lab, is a former resident of San Antonio, Texas. He started working at the lab in Massachusetts in September 2022. Prosecutors said he called the university's police department on September 13th to report that he was, quote, injured by sharp objects expelled from a plastic case he opened while at the lab. He told the police dispatcher that he and a university student had collected several packages that were delivered to Northeastern earlier that day and brought them to the lab. He described 2 of the items he picked up as being ultra durable Pelican style cases that, upon opening one, a very sharp object flew out and went up his shirt sleeves. Had been injured, and the case also contained a violent letter. The letter was dated September 12th, 2022, and vowed to harm managers inside Northeastern's virtual reality lab if they did not cease operations or destroy the lab itself. Quote, it has come to our attention that this VR lab is trying to change us as a world, trying to get us to live in a world that we only communicate through headsets and live in a land called the metaverse. Now, you guys, I am as neo-Luddite as the rest of us. I think this is when Skynet takes over. But I'm also a big old giant hypocrite because I was nearly late this morning because I was playing with AI Songmaker to make a ballad of a honey badger for another stream. So I am deeply conflicted about AI unless it's making, funny songs or images for me. But I can kind of get this whole, this is where Skynet takes over kind of thing. We have computers paint pictures through AI, 6 exclamation points. You are trying to change the fabric of ideology of people. trying to get us all to live inside a virtual F up world. You are not the creator. You think you are. We know you're the Antichrist sent to this world to change everything. We will stop you, the letter stated. We know you're working with Mr. Mark Zuckerberg and the US government. We could have planted a whole bunch of kablooies, but not this time. As Long Crime previously reported, when the police first responded to his call, they said the Pelican case that supposedly contained the explosives that shot up his sleeves was empty. The case bore no dents or marks, cracks, or other signs that it had been exposed to any sort of explosive discharge. Yeah, it's almost like things don't look the same once involve TNT. My dude, maybe if you're gonna lie about something, you should have cut up all those little words from a magazine and Jesse Smollett it, okay? Juicy Smollett it to the end. Quote, likewise, aside from several fold marks, the letter was pristine, an FBI affiant stated. His arms had several small superficial marks and bruises, but his shirt was not rumpled, damaged, or torn. As it would turn out, the FBI would find a word for word copy of the threatening letter on his laptop. Dang it, Zuckerberg, you hit again. That dang metadata, reviewed by forensic analysts, determined it was created just a few hours before he called 911. I would have gotten away for it if it weren't for Mark Zuckerberg. Remarkably, when he was first interviewed by law enforcement officials and informed that it was a crime to lie to them, he declared, I solemnly swear that I am telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Quote, staging a hoax explosion and lying to the FBI isn't about a harmless act, it's a crime. Jody Cohen, a special agent in charge of the FBI Boston Division, said in a statement last week. Acting attorney Joshua Levy emphasized that hoaxes like the one that he tried to make in the region caused fear and diverted important law enforcement personnel and resources to a hoax. Prosecutors said his hoax triggered involvement of the Boston Police Department's, bomb squad, federal and state authorities, and prompted the evacuation of a portion of Northeastern's campus. When he when he is sentenced, a date has not been set yet. He faces up to 5 years in prison, up to 3 years of supervised release, and a fine of up to $250,000. Good morning, giggles. So there you go. I know we don't want to revisit this, but look, I kind of want to gloat and be a little bit of a thunder cow to this gentleman. So I'm going to rub it in just a little bit. Salt, salt, salt. Wound, wound, wound. But the Karen Reed investigator, under fire for his inappropriate text, was, quote, relieved from his duties from Massachusetts State Police. Couldn't have happened to a bigger douche. Good morning, Captain Kern. A Massachusetts State Police investigator who came under fire for sending gobs of inappropriate texts about Karen Reed, including calling her all sorts of names, wishing she would self-delete, and looking for nudes, uh, you know, was relieved of his duty. Now, I hope he's going to be a coffee boy. Look, if I have any justice in this world or any say so, I would make him dress up like Hank Azaria from The Birdcage, his character, and make him get coffees in, Daisy Dukes and a crop tank top. But I'm pretty sure that goes against some sort of Geneva Convention. I'm just saying I would do it. Good morning, Audio Coffee. Trooper Michael Proctor was formally transferred out of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office State Police Detective Unit after prosecutors failed to secure a conviction against Reed, who was on trial for allegedly, we know the thing. State Police Colonel John Mon said in a statement that, quote, immediate action against Proctor comes after the agency already opened an internal affairs probe over his serious misconduct that came out during his testimony in the Reed murder trial. Also his gross incompetence. But let's not pile on, except let's pile on. Uh, Terrible things, lying about everything. Okay, we're good. The investigation is ongoing, Mon said. Proctor was forced on the stand to read all of the things that he, wrote to his little dingus friends and the entire police report or police, division. Because, of course, while Proctor admitted on the stand that the messages were, quote, unprofessional, he insisted the juvenile comments had no impact on the integrity of a homicide investigation. Now, I'm going to get to my thoughts on this and why this happened. My guess is the Norfolk, District Attorney's Office, State Troopers Division, every single case that has involved even, well, in the lead, Trooper Proctor is probably getting defense attorneys that want to double check that his investigations were done correctly. They were probably getting multiple retrial things because this man has been proven to be absolutely degenerate and unable to perform his duties with any ounce of integrity. So to cut losses, uh, I don't know if they will even call him. They did their darndest not to call him. I I imagine this is why he told the media yesterday to get the F off his lawn. But I think that they are looking down the double-barreled, appeal shotgun of a bunch of these defense attorneys saying, I would like all of his cell phone data when he was working on my case. I would like to see what this culture of absolute dipshittery was talking about my client for. I want to make sure that things were done. I mean, it is absolutely, I think, a cover there behind sort of thing. In my opinion, I am just a redhead who speculates on the internet. I have no inner workings knowledge of the Massachusetts legal system. So there you go. But that's kind of my guess is that they are probably being flooded with, you know, requests to relook over investigations, to have people to depose these troopers. And thank you, Wolfram, so much for donating 5 memberships. And those went to Tammy Bogard, Mad Mom, Debbie Morin, Brenda Little Sis, and Greta Broke. So, congratulations for those of you who are joining the Church of Mo. We have cookies and we use the Force, sometimes the dark side, sometimes the good side, and dark humor. And if you got a membership, please thank Wolfram. This is great. I love to see us grow and everyone to, you know, be able to join the fun. So that's my whole idea of the issue, but darn, it couldn't have happened to a better schmuck. We're gonna hear from Crazy Eye Lady. I'm sure this will be a remarkable revelation of shenanigans. But Sherry Papini is going to speak publicly for the first time since her kidnapping hoax in a docuseries. Well, this'll be an unmitigated disaster of shenanigans. I'm sure she'll be. Yes. The Jedi were too Shiite. They should have, focused their feelings and been okay with everything. But no, they're like, nah, we're going to be all crazy about it. Sherry Papini, the Redding, California mother who faked her disappearance, plans to open up about her 2016 kidnapping hoax in a forthcoming investigation discovery docuseries. Oh, Lord. The ID docuseries slated for 2025 will feature exclusive interviews with Papini and individuals close to Papini about her false abduction, the media firestorm that followed, and the 6-year federal investigation to find her captors, ID announced Monday. The news follows the release of a three-part Hulu docuseries, Perfect Wife: The Mysterious Disappearance of Sherry Papini, which uses archival footage, photos, and interviews with family and friends to detail Papini's elaborate kidnapping scheme. On November 2nd, 2016, Papini disappeared after going for a jog in her neighborhood, which led to a nationwide search. 22 days later, deemed a Thanksgiving miracle, Papini was found bruised, chained, and branded on the side of the road and told authorities that two mysterious ninjas had attacked her. She was like, "You guys don't understand. They got Jodi Arias. They're gonna get me." And her whole story, it turned out, was made the heck up. It was, in fact, the lyingest lie that ever lied. After a 6-year investigation, DNA testing of her clothing led authorities to James Reyes, Papini's ex boyfriend. Reyes admitted to helping Papini escape and branding her shoulder with a Hobby Lobby wood burning tool per her consent. I mean, you know what? If you want to change your name and go run away to the circus, you don't have to get a branding tool involved. You can just say, "See ya," and YOLO. You don't have to bring a fake made up kidnapping. According to an FBI affidavit in April 2022, Papini pled guilty to mail fraud and making false statements, and 5 months later was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison. She was released in early October 2023, due to good behavior, and now resides at a halfway home. Keith Papini, Sherry Papini's ex husband, told Rolling Stones he has not been in touch with his ex wife since her release and has yet to understand why she faked her kidnapping. From what she has done, in my opinion, I don't think there's a sentence that would be long enough, Keith Papini said of his ex wife's prison release. "I assumed anyway she was going to get out way earlier than 18 months because of good behavior. If that's all she needs to do, she can act. She's an actress." Yeah, I can see it. I mean, what in the actual heck is going on here? Because I am confused. In a blast from the past that I didn't think we would be discussing here, uh, we have Susan Smith. Susan Smith of the terrible early 90s perm and absolute disgusting human being who has been excommunicated from the motherhood club is being prepared to get out of prison. She's giving phone smexy time to sugar daddies who want to take care of her. Ew. Ew, this has to be against the law. This has to be against basic genetic evolution. Who the heck wants to associate with a woman who terminated her genetic legacy? In the most ridiculous way, tried to pawn it off on someone else, Sherry Papini style, and then, so she hasn't aged horribly. She's still a dumpster fire. Again, why? Why? Susan Smith thinks she's served enough time in prison for the 1994 unaliving of her two innocent, precious little boys, a case that shocked the nation and made her a household name. Her first parole hearing for her life sentence is November 4th, and she spent the last few months convinced that she's going to get out, family members said. As a result, she's working hard to find sugar daddies willing to bankroll her life on the outside. And the 52-year-old inmate is not above engaging in a little smexy time over the old cordless phone to lure them in, according to Family Resources and South Carolina prison call recordings. Ew. "It's time for me to get out," she told one suitor earlier this year in one call. "I've done my time. I'm ready to go." In a March conversation with one suitor, she asked him how she can support herself if she gets out. He told her that she has a large nest egg waiting for her if she's paroled, a combination of funds from the sale of a family property, gifts from admirers, and money that he's saved up. Again, ew. "I'll tell you what I did last night thinking of you," the caller told Smith. "I made a spreadsheet that starts out with 213,000. You're going to have more than that. You'll be in the 2200 2000 2020, a big number. Dang it, I cannot understand why I'm having math issues today. But basically, she's going to have more than 200K altogether. The man continued, you can spend $40,000 a year while you're withdrawing from that balance, still earning interest on the undrawn amount. In 20 years, you will have spent most of that, he said, but you will have some left over. After a short pause, Smith sighed. I love you so much. Just gross. I love you too, he replied before they began making kissing noises to each other. This is the woman who, ugh, just that stuff that you want to, it's like that film you get on your teeth and your skin crawls until you brush your teeth. She is the film on your teeth. The conversation then turned smexual, complete with giggling and heavy breathing. Ugh. I'm going to have you in the front seat of my car, the man said after speculating what she'd look like in a wet t shirt. She probably had a wet t shirt, your sirness, when she was drowning her two kids. What in the Hades is. Oh, heck yes. This is a must happen event. You're so bad, she responded with a giggles. I have some ideas of things we can do, but I'm going to make you wiggle and squirm before I tell you. Babe, he said, I'm already wiggling and squirming, and I'm close to vomiting. But this man is not alone. Apparently, Smith has carried on both sexual and romantic conversations with at least a dozen men in the past 3 years, according to prison call recordings, which are public under South Carolina law. In another conversation with a different man from late last year, she speculated how she would wake him up in the morning. Ah, I see we have another Hawk Tui girl fan. And I mean up. No, no. You know what you should do? You should be praying every day for forgiveness and that your two sons just absolutely, what a hysterically gross person. I don't like her. I will forever remember her as this dumpy, frumpy kerfluffle over here. The reality is that Smith is unlikely to be paroled on her first attempt or possibly ever, according to experts. Smith was a 22-year-old mother when she let her car roll into the John D. Long Lake in Union County, South Carolina, with her sons, 3-year-old Michael and 14-month-old Alexander, still strapped in their car seats. She stood on the side of the lake as the vehicle sank to the bottom and drowning both boys. I will say that this probably woke up the true crimer in me because let's see, this was 1994. I was a young one, but I couldn't imagine how a person could be, crying on TV, hysterical, pleading for her children with the knowledge that she knows exactly where these children are. Yeah, I think I was about 9 too. And it was absolutely confusing to me, but so intriguing to me how someone could think that she was actually going to get away with this, but could be so duplicitous on public television. I was like, Mom, how was she lying? How was she lying through all of this? And my mom was like, well, she's a horrible person. Smith then added to this by telling police that an African American man had carjacked her and kidnapped the boys, leading to a manhunt where authorities went door to door among local neighborhoods that were predominantly African American. Smith and her then husband David appeared on national news pleading for the boys', safe return. And good morning, Fraud at Wrangler. Welcome. 9 days later, Smith finally confessed that there was no carjacker and she had driven the boys into the lake. Her alleged motive was having an affair with a wealthy man who didn't want children. No, Susan, I've read those letters. He didn't want you. He thought you were kind of, A floozy. A floozy because you went to a party with him, then started making out with another dude. Now, yes, he didn't want to raise children that weren't his own, but no, he was rejecting you, not your children, you numpty. I mean, her and Diane Downs should be just stuck in a freaking rock quarry. She was convicted of murder but spared the death penalty, instead given life in prison and the possibility of parole after 30 years. David Smith, who has since remarried and welcomed two additional children, uh, and thank goodness that he was able to repair his life. I don't know the never-ending heartbreak of knowing that your wife unalived your two children. She could have easily handed them over to you. They were separated. She didn't want children. She could have handed them over to him. But instead, she decided to do this. Uh yes, I am probably so I think I'm going to have to start a honey badger section where Mo just rants about cases that tick her off. Uh but this is definitely going into the list of things that I want to dive a little bit more deeply into when school starts. I am glad that he was able to rebuild his life, that God blessed him with two more children. But there's always those two empty seats. There's always the graduations, the first dates, the explaining to your sons that unfortunately, if you give your girlfriend your hoodie and you break up, you ain't never seeing that again. You know, teaching them how to drive, seeing the person they'd become. All of this because some dude didn't like her. Just absolute and here she thinks that she's gonna get out of freaking on parole her first time. Heck no. There will be so many people that will stand up for those little boys and require justice to continue to be served. She is delusional. In a funnier story, because anything's better than Susan Smith, welcome, Shizzy Raid. Some Boston subway trains are now sporting googly eyes. Boston, I'm not sure you could make yourself any more of a joke right now, but googly eyes definitely redeem you in my, opinion. Subway riders in Boston are playing their own game of Where's Waldo, but instead of searching for a cartoon character with a red and striped top, they're on the lookout for a subway train with Google Eyes, a decal attached to the front. The head of the service said the whimsical decals are attached to a handful of trains and are meant to bring smiles to riders' faces. Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority General Manager and CEO Philip Ing says that a small group of what he described as transit enthusiasts approached the agency with an unusual request to install eyes on the trains. The group even dropped off a package of plastic googly eyes at the MBTA's headquarters in Boston. When I saw it, it made me laugh. Philip said, I thought we could do something like that, have some fun. The MBTA, which oversees the nation's oldest subway system as well as commuter rail bus ferry system, has come under intense scrutiny in the recent years for a series of safety issues that led to federal reviews and orders to fix the problem. Well, I mean, googly eyes arrive on time. Same difference, right? It has also been plagued by slow zones and delayed delivery of new vehicles and understaffing, although T officials say the slow zones are gradually being lifted. Instead of plastic googly eyes, which Ing feared would come loose and fly off, injuring riders, the MBTA went with decals, giving a jaunty facial expression to the trains. The agency has affixed them to just 5 trains, 4 on the MBTA's Green Line and 1 on the commuter rail line. When we chatted about it, it would be like finding Waldo, he said. It gave us all a chance to have a laugh and for people who use our services to have fun. Or not dying would be helpful. I mean, just making repairs to the tracks, but slap a googly eye on it, call it a day. In more, well, par for the course news for Boeing, at least 30 were injured after Boeing flight hit turbulence, sending passengers flying, with one man stuck in the overhead bin. Holy fazolies. Yeah, turbulence is no joke. I try to stay in my seat uh, because I'm like, oh no, turbulence, you're not going to get me. At least 30 people were injured on Monday after Air Europa Boeing 787 9 Dreamliner hit turbulence over the Atlantic, sending passengers flying out of their seats, with one man appearing to have gotten stuck in the overhead bins. Passengers aboard flight UX045 from Spain to Uruguay shared harrowing video of the damage caused in the aftermath of the turbulence. Yeah, you lose. So when you lose gravity, or you are just going to get flung around in there if you are not sitting down and secured. A lot of injuries. Look, I may or may not have a semi secret addiction to Mayday era disasters. So I'm something of an expert myself in airplane disasters. Just kidding. I know nothing about physics and don't ask. The man's feet could be seen poking out of the bin after he was allegedly hurled up there by the turbulence, with a group of people huddling together to pull him down, as a crying baby could be heard in the background. Other footage taken by passengers showed ceiling panels torn off by the impact of the turbulence, oxygen masks dangling overhead, and at least one destroyed seat. Air Europa said the flight, carrying 325 passengers bound for the Uruguayan capital, was hit by turbulence while flying over the Atlantic Ocean and was forced to land in Natal in northeastern Brazil. I mean, these are just, you don't, when you mess with forces like that, there is just a lot of room for getting absolutely hurt. Y'all, this would be me. This would be me. I would end up in the doggone, uh, passenger or overhead compartments. The plane has landed normally, and injuries of varying degrees that were recorded are already being treated, Air Europa said in a statement. One passenger, who identified himself as Norris, said he was enjoying his flight back home from a European tour when the captain gave a warning about turbulence and urged passengers to remain seated and fasten their seatbelts. Quote, a long time after that, there was some very, very slight turbulence that was barely felt. From one moment to the next, the plane abruptly fell and we all went up. Those who did not have seatbelts on flew, and some remained hooked to the roof, he added. You know, Boeing, they could have had better years. Another passenger named Juan echoed passengers' descriptions that the whole incident felt like something out of a horror movie, comparing it to a near death experience. The sensation was one of terror, feeling that you're falling and it does not end, he told El Observador, and you are aware that you are falling at an incalculable speed. You felt that it ended there and you had died. Uruguay's foreign ministry said the injured were being treated at Monsignor Wilfredo Garel Hospital in Natal, with transportation being readied for them to return to Montevideo. Air Europa said the new plane will leave Madrid on Monday to pick up any remaining passengers who did not opt to take the bus back to Uruguay. Listen, y'all, every single daggone person is like, we'll take the bus, please. One Greyhound. Thank you, Nick, for being a member for 8 months. And Boeing is going to change its name to Boeing Boing pretty much. Pretty much. In our final story, this is pretty cool. Late Rocky star Carl Weathers' family discovers a six-figure sum in safety deposit boxes. Carl Weathers' family revealed that the actor left behind a massive estate In Touch can exclusively reveal. According to court documents obtained by In Touch, the Rocky star had 800 or no $870,000 53 and 83 cents in assets when he passed earlier this year at the age of 46. Carl had two bank accounts at City National Bank. The first had $40,000 and the other had $107,000. The filing said the actor had 664,585 in cash safe deposit box at City National Bank. In addition, so it looks like he took care of his family, and really that is awesome. I think a lot of people don't realize, you should squirrel away for a rainy day. And I'm sure in Hollywood it's very tempting to, live up to the Joneses and maybe spend your money recklessly. We are deeply saddened to announce the passing of Carl Weathers. He died peacefully in his sleep on Thursday, February 1st, 2024. Carl was an exceptional human being who lived an extraordinary life. Through his contributions to film, television, arts, and sports, he left an indelible mark that is recognized worldwide and across generations. He was a beloved father, brother, grandfather, partner, and friend. Carl's cause of death was listed as atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. Officials noted the actor had suffered from heart disease. Earlier this year, Los Angeles Superior Court judge appointed Carl's longtime lawyer, Barry Felsen, as executor of his estate. Carl drafted his will in 1988 and amended it in October 2014. Beneficiaries of his estate were his two sons, Matthew and Jason. Carl's two ex-wives, Marianne and Rhonda. So you had a Mary and a Rhoda almost. How very 80s, 70s of you. Were also listed in the filing. Sylvester Stallone, who starred in Rocky with Carl, said following his death, "I saw him as Superman. He really was. He had the voice, the talent, and the humor. He had it all." He added, "I couldn't have made it without him." Sylvester 77 said, "I'm so torn up, I can't even tell you. I'm just trying to hold it in because Carl Weathers was such an integral part of my life and my success." He continued, "Everything about it. I gave him incredible credit and kudos because he walked into that room and I saw him for the first time. I saw greatness, but I didn't realize how great." Carl's co star in Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, said on social media, "Carl Weathers will always be a legend, an extraordinary athlete, a fantastic author, and a son of a bitch." No, just kidding. Dutch, if you've seen Predator as many times as I have, the absolute testosterone, like, arm wrestling, forearm handshake was the stuff of legends. We couldn't have made Predator without him. We certainly wouldn't have had such a wonderful time making it. Dolph Lundgren, who starred in Rocky, wrote, "I'm saddened to hear this news this morning. Along with the world, I miss Carl. He was a great actor, terrific athlete, and good friend. I cherish many special memories of Carl, both professionally and personally. Like Apollo Creed, he had that special charm that was always bringing a smile to your face." So I like a feel good story. I'm glad that he was uh, able to, save for his family. Now, on to a more serious note. I am going to be inviting Shizzy this afternoon at 2 for a read through. We will probably not get through it, of the transcripts that were just released in the Florida grand jury, you know, hearing for Jeffrey Epstein. Y'all, I am ticked. I am mad. And these young minor victims were treated like criminals. And I feel deeply, deeply in my heart that every child victim should have a mother. And if their mother won't stand up, then have a bunch of people that are willing to go full honey badger for them. This is not going to be a really funny thing or funny stream. I am ticked. What the prosecutors did to these girls, what this jury did to these girls was monstrous. They took two victims and accused them of being ladies of the night at 14 and 15, of committing illegal acts with Jeffrey Epstein when they were the ones that were lured. They ignored the entire investigation to give Jeffrey a a sweetheart deal, and they were allowed to retire. They were allowed to retire and, faced not one doggone consequence. But absolutely no. I mean, I am beyond ticked, and it seems like a lot of that kind of got lost in the news fire hose that was yesterday. So I definitely want to make a stink about it. So invite your friends. It's going to be full of the cursey words. I don't know if I'm going to do an evening newsy news after that, because I think as a mom of young girls, young boys, as an auntie, as anyone who cares for kids, I imagine we're going to be reading some pretty dark stuff. We are going to be pretty angry. Mental health is important. This is a really touchy subject for a lot of people. And I never want you to watch a stream that's going to affect you in a bad way. So, if this stream is too much for you, if this is a topic that just is, a no-go topic, don't watch. We can hang out and have fun on another stream. I John, I'm gonna say big fat BS. I don't think that they have been polled yet, but, until I hear it from either one of the attorneys, either the state or more realistically, the defense, I don't think it's true, but that's just me. But that being said, I do want to welcome you to join the stream at 2 p.m., but I absolutely want to take you guys to take care of your mental health. No stream, no click is worth you guys, having a terrible day, bringing up bad memories. So, it's not going to be for everyone. I will try to warn people as they come in, but I did want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up that it's going to be a little bit different. I am going to be using probably cursey words, because nothing makes me more angry than people who are supposed to stand up for the victims and they want to criminalize them because they're corrupt, they're bought out, and they want to protect Jeffrey Epstein. So, not not the most, and that is okay. Wolfram, life outside of YouTube happens. Thank you. You are a wonderful mod, but I just wanted to kind of put that out there because I know that these are really dark subjects, and I don't want anyone to maybe click on this and think it's going to be a regular Mo thing, and it's probably not. So, uh, please join me if you can. If you're not, absolutely, totally understandable. Take care of yourselves. I will see you then, and I will try to give you guys a heads up on if I'm having nightly newsy news, because this made it hard for me to sleep last night. I can't imagine a 14-year-old child being told that they are part of prostitution when they can't consent. So I was big hot mad about it. Uh, so I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a wonderful day. I am going to go run two boys to tutoring, even though it is summer and they believe that's against the Constitution. And I said, it's the Constitution, and you still have to go to summer school. Any hoozle, I will talk to you guys in a little bit. Have fun, have a great day, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and try to make a small corner of your world a little bit better. And we can all do that, then big things can happen. Bye, you guys.